What's up, guys? Back for the second day in a row today. It's time for the NCAA tournament. Starts today at noon, so here in about an hour and 7 minutes for me. I'm gonna try and get this video posted beforehand, so nobody will say that I kind of rigged it by any means. But I mean, the only game that starts is probably going to be one of the closer games to predict, one of the harder games to predict because they're so evenly matched. But let's go through a run through. Especially with today's games, but I'm going to run through the whole tournament bracket that I have. Let me find my exact bracket here. All right, so first round, games today. Let me run through the games today real quick. We've got starting off in order, Creighton versus Louisville. Louisville at the 8, I'm going to take them. I think it's going to be a close game, come down to the wire. I think Louisville's guard play is going to win them that game. I know that Ryan Kalkbrenner has been great lately for Creighton, but I do think that Louisville will come out on top. Same thing, Purdue, the higher seed over High Point. I do think there's an upset opportunity there. Purdue, an 8.5 point favorite going into it. I think Purdue comes out. Next game, Wisconsin, 16.5 point favorite. I believe Wisconsin dominates Montana. It's not even going to be close. Houston, 30 point favorite over SIU Edwardsville. Again, not even close. Same thing. Alabama State at Auburn, 31.5 point deficit. Auburn kills them. Clemson versus McNeese State. I don't think it's close. I think Clemson wins. They're only a 7.5 point favorite. I think they win by up to 20. Here comes my first upset of the day. I think VCU upsets BYU 11/6. Happens a lot more than you think. BYU only a 2.5 point favorite. VCU on a huge winning streak, win their conference, make the tournament. I think they upset BYU today at 4:05 p.m. Georgia Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga wins. They hardly ever lose in the first round when they do make the tournament. So I'm going to take Gonzaga there to cover the spread. The 6.5. I think they take it. Tennessee over Wofford. I think Tennessee mops the floor with Wofford. Don't think it's close. Another upset here. Arkansas beats Kansas 10/7 seed. Kansas is the favorite by 6 points, but I think Arkansas comes out. They get the job done. They take care of business, and they move on. Yale, I don't think they beat Texas A&M. They've looked good as of late, but it's the Ivy League, and A&M looked good in the SEC this year, so I'm going to take A&M. Drake and Missouri, I love Drake. Drake was one of the first teams to seal the deal for the tournament. That being said, Missouri's going to win. UCLA, I think, will beat Utah State. I think it'll be a very close game. I think it'll come down to the last few minutes, but I think UCLA takes it due to experience and coaching. St. John's will beat Omaha. That probably will be one of the biggest blowouts of the day. Michigan over UC San Diego. I don't think it's close. Right now, it's listed at a 2.5 point game. I don't think it's close. UC San Diego could surprise me, though. They're one of the upset watches that I had, but I think Michigan wins. Texas Tech versus NC Wilmington. I think Texas Tech beats them by 15 or more. Don't think it's even close. Looking at the games tomorrow to round out our round of 64, Kentucky and Troy. Those are my boys. I think we get down to business. We get it done. Lamont Butler is playing. He's starting. So we should see a good game out of him. Oregon and Liberty. Everybody's giving me flack. They think Liberty's going to upset. This is the number one upset. Liberty always upsets. 12/5. Liberty gets the job done. I have confidence in my Ducks. I think they're going to get the job done. Number 9, Baylor. Number 8, Mississippi State. Baylor should win this game. VJ Edgecombe going to step up, take over, take care of business. Alabama, Robert Morris. We all remember 15-seeder Robert Morris upsetting Duke a few years back. Well, more than a few years back, but a while back. I think Alabama stomps them into the floor. Iowa State, Lipscomb. Again, Iowa State will kill them. Colorado State, Memphis. I think Memphis has that all day long. Duke, Mount St. Mary's. Don't think it's going to be close. Mount St. Mary's clinched their tournament berth yesterday. I think Duke kills them. Vanderbilt, St. Mary's. I think Vanderbilt with the 10-7 upset here. North Carolina, Ole Miss could get very interesting. I'm going to take North Carolina, who is actually the favorite. I kid you not. The 11 is the favorite over the 6. North Carolina won their playing game 2 nights ago. Stomped San Diego State. So I'd like to see North Carolina beat Ole Miss. I think that would be great. Maryland will probably beat Grand Canyon. Florida will kill Norfolk State. They're a 28.5 point favorite right now, and I don't think it's even close. New Mexico Marquette. Upset alert, but New Mexico gets beat. Marquette gets the job done. Arizona over Akron. Another upset watch, but Arizona is a 14.5 point favorite. I'll stand by that. I don't think they win by 14.5, but I do think they win. UConn, Oklahoma. I think UConn gets the job done. I think it's going to be close, but I think UConn will come out on top. Xavier, Illinois. This is going to be awesome to watch. I watched Xavier versus Texas last night. Came down to the wire. Multiple clutch shots from both teams. Trey Johnson put up 23. Xavier's guys, they got the job done, though, in the end, and they won the game. I'm going to stick with Xavier. I think Xavier upsets Illinois at the 11-6. Bryant and Michigan State, I don't think it's close. I think Michigan State washes the floor with Bryant. There's all my first round. I can run through the rest of my tournament. I think Auburn beats Louisville. Auburn beats Michigan. Auburn beats Michigan State. They make the Final Four. That's my South prediction. My West prediction. Florida beats UConn. Florida beats Maryland. Florida beats St. John's. That's a close one. That's my closest Elite Eight matchup I think I've seen in a long time. I think that could be the championship game. Should be the championship game. They're just lined up in the wrong spots. So Florida and Auburn play in the Final Four. I'll get to that in a second. In my East bracket, I've got Duke beating Baylor, Duke beating Arizona, Duke beating Alabama, and going to the Final Four. On the other side of things, I've got Tennessee beating Wofford, Tennessee beating UCLA, Kentucky and Tennessee, close matchup in the Sweet 16. I think either of them win. Doesn't matter. I'm going to take Kentucky in this situation just because of the bias. I think we're good. We've beat them twice. I think we can do it again. And then the matchup with Houston, I think Tennessee or Kentucky, doesn't matter which one of them it is. They beat Houston. Houston does not have the big play that either of them do. And I think that either one can get the job done. So that being said, Final Four. As of right now, this bracket has Duke, Kentucky. I think Duke wins that. I know Kentucky beat them early on in the season. That was before Cooper Flagg got really good. Cooper Flagg's rested. He's going to get time to play in the tournament and get warmed up. And then Auburn plays Florida. I think Florida beat them at Auburn earlier in the season. I don't think that's any different today. I think Florida will beat Auburn in the Final Four. And I think it'll be Florida-Duke in the championship. And this bracket forced me to pick a final score. I don't like doing that because it's all going to be based off health, longevity, how the feeling out process goes. It could be a very high scoring game because of Duke's high powered offense and Florida's ability to match that offense. Or it could come down to Florida's writhing defense, shutting them down, not letting Cooper Flagg do what he wants to do. And it could be a low scoring game. So I'm going to go in between low and high. I'm going to go 79-74. Florida is your national champion this year. I don't think it's going to be that big of a surprise. Florida and Duke are the two most picked at 25 and 21%. Duke has been picked more, and I don't see a problem with that. I think that game is going to be very good, very close. But I think the third option for national championship should be St. John's. I don't think that anybody has looked into St. John's as much as I have, unless you're a St. John's fan. I think St. John's will be the team to watch out for in the NCAA tournament. The problem is they play Florida too early. I think that at a minimum they should be Final Four, but they'll probably end up in the Elite Eight against Florida when I think they deserve to go all the way. I think if you put them in the same, if you switch them in Tennessee, I think you get St. John's in the championship. I think you get St. John's and Duke in the Final Four, and I think St. John's can beat Duke. And then you put St. John's, Florida in the championship. But that's not how it is, so we're going to see Florida, St. John's in the Elite Eight. And that Elite Eight, the Elite Eight is going to be amazing this year. We've got probably 8 teams that will give us great games. I don't think we see any blowouts in the Elite Eight like we have in the past. I think it's all good, close games. But then again, you never know because it's SEC versus ACC and SEC versus Big East and Big 12 versus SEC, so you never know. But yeah, I think Florida's our national champion. I think they beat Duke in the championship, and I think it's going to be a very good tournament. We're along for the ride. I'll see you guys Monday. I think we'll be back with the podcast on Monday. I hope. Monday or Tuesday. But that being said, have a good day, guys.